Today we're talking about privilege, shame, and why someone else's life can feel like a personal attack, even when it's not. Is it really about them, or what it brings up in us? In this episode, we're unpacking routines, structural access, personal responsibility, emotional reactivity, and the meaning we attach to what we see online.
Hello, Rebuild listeners. Welcome back to season 2. How are you, Alyssa?
Hello. I'm good. I'm cozy. It is currently raining and I got my tea.
Yeah, Alyssa and I are wearing the same sweatshirt. Unplanned. Typical.
Yeah. You cozy over there? What are you doing?
Yeah. I actually got a lot done today. Got some content done. Got some fresh new reels coming to you next week.
Ooh.
Excited about that. And yeah, it's raining. It's cozy. I love rain when I'm inside.
Yeah. Yes. Camila was in her nature class today and they were fully
fun.
Outdoors all day. She's been coming home soaking wet. She loves it every second of it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, tomorrow's Isaiah's nature school day. Mm-hmm. I got him rain boots finally. Yeah, so it'll be fun. Yes,
you get to splash in all the puddles and not feel ew. I mean, the last nature class we were in, Zay's like concerned because grandma. He spends a lot of time with grandma, right? Yeah. She
my mom's OCD. Like literally, you will never find a speck of dust in her house. It's so clean all the time. Like if you think Alyssa's clean, you guys, no, you haven't met my mom. She makes Alyssa look like a slob.
Yes. So true. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, my son Isaiah, he's with her a lot, and so he has some like not OCD, I would say, but he's very cautious. He's very cautious.
Well, he's around your mom a lot, and he knows that to get covered in like so we're in nature. They're in nature class with Dahlia, wild butterfly school. Check her out. She's amazing. She encourages like getting wet and muddy and dirty and. Yeah, if he's not used to those things, it's like, wait, so this is we're good. It didn't take him long to get warmed up, though.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't actually go in until like the very end, and I think I had to like force it. You know what I've noticed is like, I don't even know if this is the right way to do it, but sometimes you just have to like push him and force him in there, and then he'll scream and cry. I've done that with the slide when he first started going down. I would just like push him down the slide and he would cry and hate it. And then eventually he liked it and wanted to go down the slide. And then we have this little gym in our loft where he can like climb. It's like a rock climber and then a rope climber and then a little swing and a slide. And he just would not climb up the rope wall. And it would drive me nuts because I know he could do it. And he would just like take one step and look at me and go, nah. And then he'll just like walk away. Finally, I'm like, you know what? I just stuck him all the way to the top and he's hanging on screaming. And I just kept doing that over and over and over. And now he climbs up. Yeah.
I knew you'd like it.
Yes. Like I'm not waiting for you to just eventually like it one day. You will like it now, and you stop being a scaredy cat.
You can tell Shantae is definitely. I don't think you would call yourself a gentle parent.
No. We have an exciting episode today, you guys. This was an episode inspired by a conversation Alyssa had. Well, not even a conversation. It was a question that somebody had on her stories about privilege.
Mm-hmm. Would you like me to read it now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, let's just get right in. After this episode, you're going to love us or hate us.
Yep.
So let's get to it.
It's okay. We're used to either one. So.
Yeah. We're very aware.
Yes,
and apparently
we're very
haters
aware.
like to continue to follow us.
Yes, I know.
You know what? It's okay. Okay, so let's read it. So this was I have an anonymous, by the way, it is truly anonymous. Like I wish I could find out who says the things they say, but we can't. No. So they asked or commented, they said, you always make women feel bad with your perfect routine and your life. You have the privilege to go to sleep at 8 p.m. How about people that work late? And to be honest, when I first read that, I was like, a little tear came to my eye. I was like, she notices my perfect routine.
Yes. You're like, thank you. I've tried so hard.
Okay, first of all, I want to talk about that a little bit now that we have time. Like Instagram obviously allows for no nuance and like very much detail. So I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit. And then we're definitely going to dive into privilege as well. But yeah, when she said, when the first thing I thought was like, oh, someone noticed my routine. It is perfect. And to be honest, and I mentioned this on my stories in short, but like, yeah, I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, considering my values, my goals, optimizing it, like through every detail, like adjusting and timing. And like, to be quite honest, like it is what it is because of trial and error. Like we go on our morning and evening walks because I consider our, circadian rhythm and digestion, walking after 2 out of 3 meals. And from the outside, it could look like a perfect routine. My kids might look perfect. And I think my little angels.
My little angels can do no wrong.
And once, in some sense, like remember, Instagram, you're getting a snippet of people's lives. And I think sometimes people might go, oh, my kids would never do that. Or, oh, like my kids, cooking in the kitchen. Oh, hell no. You know what I mean? And like, I want to be honest, like my kids they're girls, their disposition, I think for a lot of girl kids, their disposition tends to be on the sweeter side. But I will say they're still kids and they still drive me bananas. And there have been many days in which we have gone on a walk and screaming in the stroller, carrying the bikes home. My dogs scream imagine a pig getting slaughtered, like the sound of a dying pig. My dogs do that every time they see another dog. They've cried. Like there's been times where, like even just 2 weeks ago, Camila, my almost 5-year-old, was crying and screaming on the walk at night. And a neighbor goes, is your daughter okay? And I'm like, yep, just throwing a tantrum. Like there's been so many times, you guys, I've done that walk and they have lost it. And I still go on the walk. There's been times that like 7:30 in the morning, one of them's crying or screaming. Well, it's Camila at this point, honestly. Elena doesn't know any better. And I'm like, Camila, it's okay to be sad. It is okay to cry, but you need to keep it down because the neighbors are going to call the police. Okay. It is 7:30 on a Sunday and we're walking outside. Our neighbors are going to hate us. Please shush, quiet and silence.
Oh my
okay.
God.
So yes, I think like from the outside, it could, like, obviously I'm not going to record these things on my walk. And I think my reason for saying this is, yes, it is I love my routine. It is perfect, but perfect routine for my life doesn't mean it's going to fit in your life, in your scenario, your situation. Even Shantae, we have very similar lives and she doesn't have the exact routine as I do.
No, actually, I'm actually way more flexible than Alyssa. like I definitely, I try my best to wake up between 4 and 4:30 every morning, but I do go to sleep later because I like to do things later. So yeah, I don't have like a strict evening routine. Also, Kevin works a completely different schedule. Like he's not home at the same time every night. I try to keep it the same, like the first 3 days out of the week, just to gain some momentum. And then as the week goes on, I get a little bit more flexible as it gets closer to the weekend. But same with Alyssa. I mean, tantrums, especially, it's a lot more now. He drove me crazy just yesterday, the whole morning, because I was dropping him off at my parents' house a little bit later than usual, but I had a meeting at 9 that I needed him to just sit and not bother me with. So that's when I was planning on putting on Paw Patrol for him. He's used to getting it a little bit earlier. So up until that point, it was just mommy, 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 and like hanging on me, like pulling things out, asking me to do literally everything. It was funny because what I noticed was like, he's so much more independent now. So I would pull out like the Play-Doh and these little sticker things that he could put on the window. But then he's still not at the developmental stage. Like his fine motor skills aren't there yet. So I still had to sit there and like open all of the jars for him and like take off all the stickers. And I'm just like trying to do it as fast as possible so he can have something to be busy with so I could like finish getting ready. So it's just like little things like that. And then, if he wakes up and interrupts my workout, at first it's cute because he wants to crawl on me and hug me. But then I'm like, okay, now you have to go over there and like sit over there somewhere, and he doesn't want to. And then he'll like, mommy, 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 and start crying and then ask for milk, but he doesn't really want milk. And so it's just like, I almost lost it yesterday because it was just like 4 hours of nonstop that. And I was like, overstimulation. Yeah. But like Alyssa said, and this is something that we've mentioned before in the past, it's like, we're not going to sit and pull up our camera and record all these things. And like, we're just not going to do it. And so it's hard as content creators too. You guys, unless you are a content creator, posting on social media, running a business on social media, capturing content on social media, you're not going to understand how challenging it is to be authentic and what you're supposed to. You're just supposed to be authentic. Yes, there's authenticity and we try our best, but then there's also like whatever, like people, it doesn't matter how authentic they are, they're going to choose what they put online. There's nothing authentic about social media. It's not real life. And so it is frustrating because we do try our best to be ourselves as much as possible, but there's things that we don't share. And
I'm sorry, I don't agree with pulling out my phone and recording my kids crying, having a hard time.
Yeah.
For social media purposes.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I see other people do it. I'm never going to do that. Like, I'm not going to show a hard moment and blast my kids online. As you guys know, I don't even show my girls' faces online.
Yeah.
You know? So.
Yeah. Or even like talking about it. And I think I've mentioned this before in the past, like, okay, well, maybe we could talk more about it either on stories or in our reels. But it's so much better to talk about the good stuff. Like, that's why we like to post the good stuff. We want to inspire, and it motivates us too to kind of help other moms know that it's possible to, even though you have all these hard days and struggling days, that you could still do the thing that you think that you can't. And that's what Alyssa was kind of getting at with her routine. Her routine is perfect for her lifestyle. And it took a lot of effort and a lot of trial and error and a lot of awareness and a lot of persistence to create that lifestyle for herself. And I think the disconnect is not that you're not, or whoever asked this question, or just people in general, not that they're not trying enough, but I think there is an element of that, okay, well, maybe you haven't tried long enough to find that perfect routine for you.
When I think in her case, by the way, whoever sent this, I can tell, like, so my initial reaction was like, oh my gosh, my routine's perfect. But then also I'm like, oh, this poor person. I could tell they were hurting. Like, I could tell that came from a, like, I need to tell this girl what's, like, she needs a reality check. Like, not all of us can stay at home with our kids. Not all of us, you know, can wake up early and go to bed early. And I recognize that. I work with a plethora of clients that come from different walks and backgrounds. I would say most of our clients are married. They do have a supportive husband. They both are income earners. Their business, they own a business. Like, that is our clientele. That's who we're speaking to. Yeah. So the other thing when I read that was like, oh man, she's trying to compare her life single, which I'll get to her other question. I'm pretty sure it was her, to be honest, but single mom, night shift.
How do you know she's a single mom?
I don't know. Well, after I responded to that, I got like a few minutes later, another question box comment, which we're going to talk about soon as well, saying like, okay, well, might as well read it now, I guess. If your circumstances were different, single parent, night shifts, no partner support, what system would you need to exist to make that routine accessible? How do you distinguish between personal sacrifices and structural access to wellness? So we're going to talk about that soon, but I do want to point out whoever said this is, they said, how do I, sorry, where to go? Partners, what systems would need to exist to make that routine accessible? And I'm assuming she's talking about my routine. And I answered back, well, no, I just full stop would not try to have my routine. Like, you need a completely different routine. And
right.
I don't know the ins and out of that person's life. I wanted to respond in a more helpful way, but I don't know enough to be like, hey, have you tried this? What about that? Let me, that's what we do with our clients one-on-one. We can have a back and forth dialogue, but sometimes those question boxes are hard because it's so vague.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it is a single mother, yeah, I mean, you cannot compare your lifestyle. Like how we can't compare our lives to a 25-year-old who doesn't have kids, right? Mm-hmm. That would be illogical. You have to have some sort of awareness like, oh, I can maybe pick parts of the routine and lifestyle that she has and see how I can make that work for me. And in that pursuit, you will develop your own. That's typically what social media is for, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of influencers, like one of my main inspirational influencers that I always follow, Michelle, she's in her 50s, has no kids, but she's still so inspiring to me. Like I look up to her with a lot of things because the way that she thinks and the way that she lives her life and her values and her discipline, I admire that. But just because she doesn't have kids and she's 15 years older than me doesn't mean that I can't resonate with some of the things that she says and some of her lifestyle choices. I never want to be a professional bodybuilder, but I can still appreciate and get inspired by a lot of the things that she puts out. And so, yeah, when you're using social media, there also comes like a level of responsibility on the user's end as well. We've talked about this in the past. Not everything is for you, and you have to be really careful with what you internalize, and not do this comparison game that will put you in a negative spot, because that's unhelpful too.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Can we talk about the second part of her question there?
Go ahead.
So she said, you have the privilege to sleep at 8 p.m. How about for the people that work late? Now, within this context, I'm reading perfect routine, perfect life, privilege, and going to bed. So something I did catch is she does moralize sleeping at 8 p.m. And so one thing I want to point out is we do this all the time. We take something and turn it into like a good, bad, or it means something if I can wake up at 4 a.m. It means I'm more successful, or whatever things you've made up in your mind or have heard, right? People that wake up early are just more successful. There's morality behind it. They're better than the people that sleep in. And so I think there's a little bit of that under that message. And then on the privilege side, I obviously went off in I don't say went off. It was one story. I don't need to get like super into the weeds, but I think we wanted to talk a little bit about privilege. I mean, I think privilege for me, yes, like I did have a pretty privileged childhood. I have two parents. They're both married, middle class, we're able-bodied, we're born in America. Like my parents were as well. Their families were immigrants, but they were born here. I
thought your dad immigrated here.
No, born here.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. His parents did, and my mom's parents.
What? I thought when he came here, he didn't speak English.
His family spoke Spanish only at home, but he was born here.
Oh.
So yes, going to school was very difficult for him because it was English was his second language. And he tried to assimilate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and I will say my parents modeled like a strong work ethic. Now my husband's story, so he was born in Mexico, came here when he was young. His mom, worked really hard, manual labor, like they lived in a very unsafe neighborhood. And she really did instill like education. And his life could have been very different. Like, I'll give you just a quick snippet. Like they always laugh about this at Thanksgiving, but they were at a family barbecue and there was a gun shootout outside their house. They were like all ducking and covering. They always they would crack up on how they were like dodging bullets or whatever, like ducking into the ground. So like that's the kind of area he grew up in, and like he had choices. He could have definitely gone down a different path. And where his life took him, obviously he's a dentist. He's created an incredible life for me and my family. And it's because of his hard work and the family culture we've built. So like, and the other thing I want to talk about is like, privilege isn't so black and white either. It's not like you're completely privileged or you're completely not privileged. I think some aspects of my life, absolutely, you could say I'm privileged. But yeah, I don't think it's as black and white as people see it to be.
I think privilege has been overused so much recently over the past decade that it almost doesn't have meaning anymore. And I feel like people use the word privilege when they see something that feels out of reach for them. And so they will, casually, say, well, you're really privileged in this area, as a way to let you know that, oh, the only reason why you can achieve this is because you have privilege in your life. That could be true for some people. But I also want to challenge that a little bit, because Alyssa and I obviously talked about this a lot offline and messages, but we both come from a family of immigrants. My mom and grandmother immigrated over here from Peru. And you guys, this is what every family strives for. The story of an immigrant, or even just the classic American family. Every single generation that is here, the main goal is to provide a better life for your children. You want your children to be better off than where you were at. And so my question to anybody who uses this word privilege is, okay, when you see somebody who has something that you don't have, without knowing their family history or their story, at what point is it building that generational wealth that we all strive for? And at one point, is it privilege, right? When does it change from building a stable family to, oh, now you're just privileged? And so that's something to think about. I don't have the answer for that, but it is something that I've noticed, that both Alyssa and I are building the life that we have now based on the sacrifices that our parents and grandparents made for us. And so you cannot blame us for utilizing the opportunities that our parents sacrificed for, which is exactly what we hope our kids will do with the lives that we're building for them. That is the whole point of life, doing all of this stuff. And so it is frustrating when people throw out the word privilege without even recognizing or knowing or understanding our story, our family history. I really do try my best to not use that word loosely, especially with people that I don't know.
So well said. Yeah, you said that better than I did. Yeah, and I think also too, acknowledging that like privilege doesn't also disqualify your experience, right? Like to Shantae's point, I think when I first saw the word privilege, Fernando and I were dying because we went on a date, like a Valentine's date. We went to a winery, and I was like, oh, let me share this comment. And then I started to tell him my response, and he was like, oh my gosh, did you use me as
You're using me?
I was poor. I was born a poor Mexican child. Like we were belly laughing, and we can laugh about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and like, yeah, I think access exists on a spectrum. Time, money, support is a big one. Like obviously for me, I feel very privileged in the support I've received. Like I've paid my own education. Nothing was technically handed to me. Like no, my parents didn't give me money for like, I don't know, for our first house or whatever. But like for support, yes. Like I knew like if something ever happened in college, or if me and Fernando like got a divorce, I would go right back into my family's house, and I know that I would be welcomed with full arms. And that is a privilege in my mind. Like I have an incredible family to support me. And that's funny. That's how Fernando defined privilege. When I asked him like, well, how do you define privilege? And he's like, you have no stress when it comes to finances. He said it better that day, but I was a little tipsy when he was telling me. But essentially, yeah, I think it does exist on a spectrum. And I think some people are more privileged in some areas and less privileged in others. Like you might have time flexibility, but not financial security. To afford healthy food, but have to work those night shifts, right? You might not have partner support, or you might have health issues. So I think it's on a spectrum. And like you said, sometimes people will just throw out that word.
Yeah. Do you think moms who have support from grandparents or in-laws for childcare are privileged.
I wouldn't use that word privileged. I would just say it's an extra layer of support that can be very helpful. I wouldn't use privileged.
Yeah. It's just different. Yeah. The reason why I asked is because there was this post a long time ago. One of the funny comedic moms that you follow, the reel was about her in-law was just texted her saying, "Hey, I want to pick up the baby, and can she spend the night, please?" And just like asking her if it's okay to take her daughter for the weekend. And she was just like, yeah, her bags are already packed, waiting at the door. Like, please come get her. But she said it in a much more funny way. Yeah. And it was a viral reel. And I was looking at the comments, and there was, one of those moms who I think she was triggered by it and just was saying like, well, you're obviously privileged. She wrote some long thing, but used the word privilege, and she had like 9,000 likes on that comment. And I just thought it was interesting of, there was a mix of comments underneath that of just saying how like either agreeing with her, like, yes, this is so privileged, and other people just saying like, no, this is what it's supposed to be, right? And I think because here in Western culture, we've kind of gotten disconnected with that village. Either, grandparents don't want to be involved, or people don't have, parents around, or, whatever the case may be. Here in Western culture, we just don't have that established multi-general culture that other countries or cultures have. And so I think with that, and just like the state of the economy, we've kind of just gotten a lot more disconnected with like being raised and supported in a village like we used to. And so, yeah, I think, a lot of moms are struggling with that. So when they see other moms getting that support and getting that, help, it could be triggering for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine if I did not have that support, that my heart would probably feel achy watching someone else experience that. But privilege, by definition, I had to look it up real quick. Privilege is a special right, advantage, or immunity that a person or group has, often without having earned it, and that others may not have access to. So I can see like, okay, advantage, yes. Others may not have access to, but I wouldn't qualify a grandma as like a special right, or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't quite fit. There's probably a better definition. That's a good point for what that is. Privilege is when life is easier for you in ways you didn't necessarily earn just because of who you are and where you start. Yeah, I just wouldn't call that privilege. I would just say, hey, that person has an extra layer of support that is beneficial and does supply them with, just more benefits overall.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to play with the cards that you were dealt. And I love this, it wasn't a quote. It was just something that Alex Hormozy, it was one of the entrepreneurs that I like to follow. If you don't know Alex Hormozy, he's like one of the best multimillionaire entrepreneurs of our generation. I'm so enthralled with his work ethic and just what he's built for himself, and him and his wife, and just what a power couple they are. And so I went through this phase of just like consuming so much of their content and like talking to Kevin about it. And Kevin loves to point out things that I'm not seeing. And he's like, well, I mean, you have to also understand that he went to one of like the top schools, like Vanderbilt is a very prestigious schools, and he had access to a lot of like a strong network there. And so he had a different starting point than, let's just say, the entrepreneur who didn't have access to any of that stuff. And I got frustrated with him because I'm like, but he's just so brilliant. Like, who cares? He did bring up a good point. And Alex even said, he's like, yes, I did have these things, but you know what? I also had, like, I was able to start ahead further than my dad because my dad came to this country without knowing English. He came to a country without knowing the language, without knowing anybody, without knowing any connections. And I was able to build upon his sacrifices and success. And so that's what I was kind of referring to earlier. It's like that is the story of an immigrant or just any family that is trying to build that legacy for their lineage. It's you build something so your kids and your grandkids have something to build upon with the sacrifices that you make. And so I thought that that was like a fantastic example there. Then he recognized that, like, yes, I did have access and I did have all of these privileges and I used it to my advantage.
You're right. Yeah. And I'm sure there's other people within his class that aren't as successful. Like same with Fernando and his classmates. Like some people are doing good. Sometimes some people are doing incredible. Like just because you go to a school, get a degree and start a career, not everyone is going to be as successful. So it just shows that the person behind that does make a difference on their worth ethic and where they end up. But second part to that comment, or we're assuming it's the same person, I don't know, but if your circumstances were different, single parent, night shifts, no partner support, what systems would you need to exist? What systems would need to exist to make that routine accessible? How do you distinguish between personal sacrifices and structural access to wellness? So I think essentially she's trying to poke at or prompt, like, how do we distinguish between like personal responsibility versus like systematic barriers? So that would be, you know, structural access to healthcare, safe place to move, affordability, nutritious food, work schedules, childcare, which we've kind of talked about some of this, right? And I really think like two truths can exist at once. Like some people can have fewer options, but at the same time, small choices still compound over time. Like both can be true.
Yeah, like when we look at this through the lens of health and access to you know, safe neighborhoods and grocery stores and things like that. Obviously, we would hopefully want policies that drive those structural changes, but until those things change, we do need to take some sort of level of personal responsibility. Like there's always going to be something within your control. I could give you an example. When I moved to Los Angeles, my husband, then boyfriend, we moved to Koreatown, which was not the safest neighborhood. It was, you know, very, very, very poor neighborhood. And the reason why we moved there is because we were both broke. He was going into his new career and I switched companies, and it was just the cheapest apartment that we could find at that time. So we could kind of get used to the transition. And I think we were there for almost a year, and I was so miserable and I felt unsafe the entire time. I just had anxiety the whole time I was there. I hated leaving my apartment. I remember the first month I was there, I got like 4 parking tickets because you cannot park anywhere without getting a ticket in Los Angeles. It's like impossible. Which is hard because if you're not making any money and you get slammed with 4 or 5 tickets in a month, then you're screwed, which makes you think like being a progressive city like Los Angeles that loves people of color and low income people, like they just really set up a system for you to get screwed and stuck for a really long time. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I would get followed and harassed every single day walking to and from my car. I remember we had to pay for a parking spot half a mile from our house that was $500 a month. And I woke up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, and I had to walk in the dark. Obviously, I would wear a big sweatshirt, big sweatpants, and just walk as fast as possible, but I never felt safe. And then always, every day, like clockwork, on the way back, walking home, getting ready for work, I'd be followed by men and just, men catcalling me and following me to my apartment. There's homeless people sleeping outside of our apartment. Like the whole time I told Kevin, I would just cry. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I left my comfortable little apartment in San Diego for you. You better make this worth it. And then finally, we actually had to make the decision to move to a safer neighborhood that we could not afford. So we moved to the Valley, and it was a much safer neighborhood, but it was way out of a price range. And that was one of the sacrifices that we had to make. You know, after living there for 2 years, we left and moved into our house now, $40,000 in credit card debt because we couldn't afford living in that area. So, yeah, it's one of those things where you, sometimes the sacrifices that you make aren't going to put you in the best situations financially. Or like safety wise, right? Mm-hmm. So we made the sacrifice to move into a cheaper neighborhood for financial benefit, but realized that our physical safety was at risk. And so then we made the sacrifice to spend more that we didn't have for our physical safety. So it's like one of those things where you really have to like outweigh, okay, what's the most important here? Luckily, you know, right when we moved into our house, I was able to get us out of that credit card debt. But yeah, it was tough. Those are like tough decisions. And I can't imagine being in that state for years and feeling like you can never get out. But yeah, so those are some of the examples. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point to prove though that yes, it does matter. Like there is systematic barriers.
Yeah.
And like, but you still chose to go work out. And if you weren't able to move out of that neighborhood, I wonder or imagine like if you would have found another way to train, work out from home. I don't know. I think
or what my options would be if I had kids, because I didn't have kids.
Right.
Yeah. That would be another barrier. I can't even imagine walking around that neighborhood with kids because it was so unsafe.
Right. Yeah. So
but actually, I worked with a client who had 3 kids, and she was a power lifter. And she lived in an unsafe neighborhood in Los Angeles, but she had her whole workout equipment gym at home. She had her walking pad. Like she just had everything set up. And so, yeah, a mom of 3 kids living in Los Angeles, nothing could get in her way. So it's like one of those things like, okay, again, what are you willing to sacrifice? And when you see somebody in your similar situation doing the thing that you think that you can, use that person as inspiration. Okay, well, what can I learn from this person? How is she able to do it? If she could do it, then I most likely can.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting? After I got that second comment about night shift, no partner support, single parent, I started to look at if there was anyone online similar to that. And I didn't search that long, but I did find someone who was a trainer who specialized in coaching women that work night shifts specifically. And she talked a lot about, you know, the how challenging it is to work with your circadian rhythm and the cravings that you will kind of go through and how to shape your meals to fit your nightlife. And so, yeah, there is someone out there for everyone. I always check myself too, is like, there is always someone with less money, more kids, less time, doing better, with more businesses. And I try to find people that inspire me. There's a lot of moms or women I follow that I want to be like them. And when I see their content, I don't compare their life with mine. Like Shantae was saying, it's like, I take notes. Like, what are they doing? Like, how can I be like that? And I think oftentimes, like, we give comparison, like, personal meaning. So there's this other reel I want to talk about. It was this girl sitting on the couch scrolling, like she's like, oh, I'm just gonna have a break, and then it's like pop up on the screen, the thing she's seeing is like, one mom is like, at 4 a.m. I work out, and another mom comes up and it's like, I cook everything from scratch, and then another mom's like, you know, who needs screens when you have puzzles? And it's like, I lost all my baby weight and
in 3 weeks.
Yes, whatever. And then it's like pan back to her sitting on the couch, and she's like, I haven't even brushed my teeth. And it's like, okay. So, you know, I think oftentimes when we see reels like that, it can feel like an attack, because if you're scrolling and seeing that and you just woke up and have not brushed your teeth, it can make you feel shame. But essentially, let me start that over. Damn it. Okay, I found it. Okay, so that reel, if you're watching that, you're taking a break and you're watching that, you might interpret that as shame, and no one can make you feel shame. Shame is interpreted. Most shame doesn't come from someone trying to make you feel bad. Like if you scroll and see like my perfect routine, or like Shantae, like that photo shoot of you looking so hot, like
I lost followers after that. I always lose followers when I post something slightly political or something sexy. Then I just get a bunch of unfollows.
Well, here you go. This is my point. It's like no one is attacking you per se. It's based on your own expectations, insecurities, and the feeling of guilt is truly just information. And I think it could be helpful if you do feel like, oh, that instant like shame is, okay, why am I feeling that, right? Get curious of it, and you can make it more helpful, right? I think if we decide, oh, that person's shaming me, then we don't have to ask, okay, what nerve did this hit? Like, it can feel uncomfortable in the moment, and it's easy to put blame on this person is like projecting her perfect life to us because we're all not good enough, right? You're making everyone feel bad for your perfect routine, but it keeps you from learning really anything about yourself. And I think I can get it. If you're a mom and you have a lot on your plate and you already feel behind, it can feel like criticism, especially if you're feeling stretched thin.
Yeah. I remember when we had our previous coach here, she shared with me one of her clients who sent her a voice message. Why is Shantae always so perfect? It's like, really? God, you guys. It gets me so frustrated because truly I am not trying to be perfect. Like neither of us are trying to be perfect.
No.
We like to post this kind of stuff. Like we like to, like there's no other way to do it.
We see women doing, and that inspires us. Our intent is to inspire others.
Oh my God, you guys. It's so frustrating when I hear stuff like that. Because it's not like me, like, I'm so perfect and you suck. Like that's not at least my intention. But what we hope is that, Alyssa and I have talked about this numerous times in the past too, is like a common narrative that we have seen just about motherhood in general is that it sucks. It sucks. And this was one of the reasons why I was afraid to have kids as a young woman who didn't have kids yet, who thought maybe she wanted to build the family one day, but all she saw on the internet was just how miserable motherhood was. It's like,
this is
why
true
would
facts, by the way.
Yeah,
Shantae was terrified.
Why would I even want to have kids if I'm going to lose myself, if I'm going to hate my kids and my husband, if I'm just going to be living in sweats and coffee stains all day? Like, what the hell? I don't want to live my life that way. And so it was more so rebellion against that narrative that Alyssa and I agreed that we weren't going to feed into that miserable mom narrative, because motherhood is fantastic. It's the best thing that you could do with your life. And, you know, I went from questioning if I wanted to have kids to now I want 3, maybe 4. I don't know. We'll see what happens after the second one. But it's so beautiful, and I love it so much, and we're having a great time being moms together, and we want other women to feel hopeful that motherhood can be a time that you enjoy, not lose yourself. You can feel amazing.
Feel hot.
And you feel hot. You still have great sex with your husband. like you can have all these things. And yeah, it's going to be messy and it's not going to feel good all the time, but it's also not going to be this miserable thing that you have to drag yourself through because society says you have to have kids.
Mm-hmm. And, okay, I wanted to read this. I saw a reel from, how do you say his name? Nick Sensei?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I don't know how to say his last name.
Sensei, if you want to look him up. Nick. He's a coach who explains uncomfortable truths about human behavior. Favorite follow the last few months. I love his post, but he talks about being offended and emotional reactivity. And I'm going to like read it almost verbatim because it was so good. So he put, the first flash of feeling offended isn't a choice. The emotional spike is automatic. Your brain is wired to detect threats, and disagreement can feel like danger. But what happens after that is choice. You can pause and ask, why did that bother me? Or you can escalate, moralize it, and turn it into a bigger reaction, aka Instagram, the internet. So why people are easily offended? One, their beliefs are fused to their identity, so a disagreement feels personal. Two, being offended can create social status or morality, like being morally superior. Some people have low tolerance for discomfort, so they label discomfort as harm. Mm-hmm. There's tribal pressure. If your group is offended, you're incentivized to be offended too. And calling something offensive can be a power move, right? That's offensive. That's privileged, right? Instead of debating the issue, you make the person socially risky to listen to, and that shuts down the conversation. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to have uncomfortable conversations on a lot of different topics. What we have found when it comes to like either politics or motherhood and parenthood, like those are just like really touchy subjects for women specifically. I find to have easier conversations with men about these.
We're too emotional.
Yeah, we're too emotional. Hey, and you know what? When Alyssa was reading this, I also wanted to say, like, I can't speak for Alyssa because she rarely gets triggered and it's really annoying, but I get triggered all the time. I get triggered a lot. And it's definitely a skill that you have to practice. And I have shown my triggers here on different podcasts. So, when I was listening to Alyssa read that, I flashed back to one of our episodes of the Be Real With Us podcast. And we were talking about some feedback that we got from a client who didn't like the brand that we were developing when it came to like photo shoots and, expressing your progress, embrace your confidence and your sexiness and put it out there and all that stuff. Like we leaned into that pretty heavily during the transition, the brand transition about a year and a half ago. And, a client left feedback, not liking that and misrepresenting who I was personally. And I internalized that and felt attacked when she said that. So much so that I felt the need to make a whole podcast episode about it. And what Alyssa said about identity, I put so much of my entire identity into building this business that feedback like that felt like a personal attack to me. And so I felt very triggered and heavy by those feelings. And I wish that I didn't do that podcast episode. But again, it's like one of those things where it's hard being a content creator and putting all of these things out there and then being misunderstood when that is not what you want to be represented as. It's not easy trying to put a message out there, hoping that people understand what you're trying to communicate.
Yeah, I think if you do get that initial reaction of like, being offended or feeling uncomfortable, I think it can be helpful to ask, okay, what belief did this poke at? Like you being hot, right? Posting a picture of your photo shoot. If someone sees that and feels some kind of way, initially they want to comment or write a complaint or whatever they end up doing. I think it's worth pausing and just thinking, okay, what am I already telling myself about what that means for me? Because I think us modeling this lifestyle, we're hoping to find our tribe, our people. Mm-hmm. We're hoping to lead by example, and leading by example isn't meant to shame you. It's modeling, right? And modeling should give you permission. It should inspire. It shouldn't put pressure. Like if you're noticing you're feeling pressure, I would say, okay, why am I feeling this pressure? why am I feeling some kind of way about this? And sometimes it might be deep down that you may want this for yourself and it might feel out of reach. And I think trying to copy someone's life obviously isn't going to work. But like we were saying earlier, how can you take bits and pieces of that message and apply it to your life? The other thing, actually, I often feel like sometimes motherhood is like a competition of who had it hardest.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
a good one.
who has more kids. Like the other day I was like, I definitely don't want more kids. But I will say a thought came up of like, but the more you have, the more street cred. Like, you know what I mean? Like two, that's not real until you have 3 or 4 or 5. Like,
and then that'll give you some real credibility.
Right. I almost sense like people flaunt how many kids they have. Like there's this mom I follow. She's awesome. she's a mom of 5, homeschools, has a mansion in Texas, always looks put together. And she's so inspiring to me. But in the back, I think sometimes we see these moms of multiple kids with giant dream homes, owning multiple businesses, like beautiful homes. And it's like, it almost feels like a competition essentially. And I think when you're online, it's like, who has it harder? Who's doing more with less? Who has less support? Who's getting less sleep and still doing it, right? And so it's easy to both ends, right? Like who has less sleep, more kids? Who has more money, has a prettier house? And it's so easy to fall in this trap of comparing measuring your own struggles against someone else's. And like, I saw this quote and I love it. It's like, because I carry it well doesn't mean it's not heavy. And just because like someone's managing chaos, they're keeping their house a certain way, showing up like with 5 kids and still smiling on the outside, it doesn't mean it's not hard. And I think strength and struggle, they're not opposites. Like someone can be strong and capable and still feel tired and overwhelmed, and you know, it can still be hard. And yeah, I think we see these things and are like, oh, I could never do that, or I need to do more, and we're trying to compare these people online. And I think women, like, it doesn't. I lost my train of thought. And okay, I was gonna go into another spin tail here. Do you want to interject before I do?
What spin tail?
Well, I was gonna say on the flip side, I think sometimes moms also make their life harder than it needs to be. And I think sometimes if you do grow up with less opportunity, and you want to provide your kids with a good life, I think sometimes a sense of like more, like, okay, more activities, more sports, more enrichment, kids can
feel burnt out. Kids can feel... they feel burnt out and overworked, and they can't be kids. I think we overschedule our kids and then we overschedule ourselves.
Yeah, that was my point too. Like mom, like I've kind of sensed in the mom community that sometimes moms will drop everything. Like their kid wants to do like some sort of jujitsu or something. They're like, okay, we're signing you up. It's 5 p.m. across town, peak traffic. No one's eating, baby's melting down. We're doing it. We're signing you up. And then I think going back to my perfect routine, I kind of want to tie it all back in. It's like, sometimes I think for my life personally, I do filter a lot of things through. Like before I say yes, I consider my energy, my time commitment, my kids' energy, the drive time of day. I make sure my workouts are non-negotiable. They're scheduled in. I make sure to protect like family days. If Fernando's off, I will make sure it works for both of us. We always make sure we're home for quiet time. And I think sometimes because we're comparing our lives to these people on social media with their big houses and their multiple businesses and multiple kids, I think some moms feel like they have to say quick to say yes and provide like the ultimate childhood. And I get that. Like I get wanting to provide the best for our kids, but we have to ask like, does this fit my current life? Are we forcing it? Will this support my life's rhythm and schedule? And I think sometimes Instagram can be at a fault. Like, we're trying to do those magical Pinterest perfect birthdays and like endless enrichment sports. And kids I don't think kids want a mom who did everything for them. I think they want a mom who it was there for them, that showed them love. And I'm not like anti-activity, right? Like my kids are in swim and horseback riding lessons, but I am very careful about what we sign up for, when it is. And I do consider like, hey, our non-negotiables are our quiet time, my sanity, right? My gym time, our family schedule, and it has to coincide with that. And so I think sometimes moms are doing too much and not setting boundaries, and it's quick to say yes for so many things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is a good place to end.
Yeah. How long have we been talking for?
About an hour. Can you not see the time? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now I can. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I hope that was insightful and a good girl talk. We wanted to kind of just share what was on our mind with some conversations that we have on Instagram. And we appreciate you guys that listen and have, followed us this entire time and through all of our transitions and all of our growth periods. It's just going to keep going because, we're moms of young toddlers. And I imagine that the more kids we have and the older that they get, we're going to continue to face different challenges and talk about it on here. So we're happy to have a space to kind of like hash these things out here.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.